Hello there, Steve-Os. Welcome along to this week's episode of the Movie Wrap-Up. Let's have a look and see what movies I've watched and reviewed this week right here on the Movie Wrap-Up.
You're watching Steve's Movie Wrap-Up, episode 86, right here on my YouTube channel, SteveOfficial. The first movie we'll be reviewing in this episode is We Bury the Dead.
So first up is We Bury the Dead, which I gave 2.5 stars over on Letterboxd. We Bury the Dead stars Daisy Ridley, and also I must say that this I must say that as the movie opened, I noticed that Screen Australia, who have done movies in the past such as The Loved Ones and Wolf Creek, also was attached to this project. And normally when I see Screen Australia are attached to a project, I normally look forward to the film. So what did I think of We Bury the Dead? Daisy Ridley, yes, the same Daisy Ridley who starred in the movie in the more recent Star Wars projects, I thought was rather good in this movie, though the movie does shine a light on grief, which for someone who has in the past year gone through grief myself, I have seen a few films that do handle this, and seeing movies tell the story of grief has helped me along on my journey of suffering with grief, and I do appreciate that a lot. But also, We Bury the Dead did somewhat remind me partially of The Walking Dead, and there is a shot in this that did somewhat remind me of a scene in Stranger Things. More on that in a moment. The film does remind me of The Walking Dead because of the zombies that we see in this film. They are creepy, and also the sound they make. They kind of make this gritted teeth sound that actually goes right through me and makes my skin crawl. When I first heard that sound in this film, it did make me shiver and make my skin crawl. But by the time we got to the end of the film, I got used to the sound of it. The film did also remind me of a scene, the final shot of season 4 of Stranger Things, because there is a shot in this film that did slightly mirror that scene at the very end of season 4 of Stranger Things. That does remind me. I still need to watch season 5 of that show. But do I recommend watching We Bury the Dead? If you do enjoy watching zombie movies, then I would say check this out for yourself. There is a plot twist that you will see by the third act, which I won't spoil, just in case you plan to see this movie for yourself. Will I watch We Bury the Dead again? Yeah, I would be happy to revisit and rewatch this one again in the future. But for now, We Bury the Dead is available to buy and rent on digital platforms right now.
Dust Bunny.
Next up was Dust Bunny, which I gave 3 stars on Letterboxd. Mads Mikkelsen, Sophie Sloane, David Dassalchian, and Sigourney Weaver all star in the movie Dust Bunny, that is directed by Brian Fuller, who happened to direct the TV series of Hannibal, which is, by the way, a TV series I haven't seen before, but I have seen a TV series that Brian Fuller has done before many years ago that was called Pushing Daisies. I loved that show as a kid, and I have heard that show could be returning sometime soon with a 3rd season after the show was cancelled years ago, sadly. But what did I think of Dust Bunny? I had a good time with this movie. This movie is also classed as 3 different genres. Yes, there is some horror elements in this, so it is classed as a horror. Yes, there is some action sequences in this, which, by the way, are really awesome to watch on screen, so it is classed as an action film, and at times there are some comedy elements in this film as well, so it is also classed as a comedy as well. A lot of Letterboxd reviews that I have seen have said that a lot of the dark humour that you would find in the TV show Hannibal has been injected into this film. Now, I can't say myself whether I can say the same, because, like I have said, I haven't seen that TV series before, but I do appreciate the dark humour that we do get in this film. Is Dust Bunny a movie that I would recommend watching? Yes, it is, even regardless whether this is a film you will watch over and over again, or just watch once and once only. And is Dust Bunny a film I will happily revisit / rewatch again in the future? Yes, I would be happy to check this out again in the future. But for now, Dust Bunny is available to buy and rent on digital platforms right now.
The Twin.
Next up is The Twin, which I gave 2 stars over on Letterboxd. So this film was released last year in 2025 on Shudder over in the US. However, over here in the UK, The Twin was released on digital platforms, and I have seen a trailer for this film. One trailer, as it happens, and it did intrigue me and interest me to check this movie out. So now that I have checked out The Twin, what did I think of this film? Well, look, this film is classed as a horror movie, more so a supernatural horror movie, and I don't think this film does anything that is deemed fresh or original that you haven't seen before in any other supernatural horror movie. However, though, I do appreciate some of the horror imagery that we do see in this film. The Twin does somewhat handle grief and also mental illness, which again, I do appreciate the film for shining a light on that subject as well. Do I recommend watching The Twin? Well, partially yes, but this will likely be a film that you will probably watch once and once only. And will I revisit / rewatch The Twin again in the future? I would do, yes. However, I am in no rush or hurry to go back and rewatch this film anytime soon though. But The Twin is available to buy and rent on digital platforms now here in the UK. However though, if you are watching this and you're over in the US, then you'll be able to find this movie over on the horror streaming service that is Shudder.
Good Fortune.
Next up, I watched Good Fortune, which I gave 3 stars over on Letterboxd. So, Aziz Ansari, Keanu Reeves, Seth Rogen, Keke Palmer, and Sandra Oh all star in the movie Good Fortune, which is a comedy film that is also directed by Aziz Ansari. So, what did I think of Good Fortune? Good Fortune is a film that was released in late 2025, and I did want to see this in cinemas. However, though, it did have a limited theatrical release here in the UK, well, at least at my local cinema anyways. So I waited for this to be released on digital, and now I have given this a watch. However, though, as this is classed as a comedy film, I did get a couple of chuckles out of this film, to be honest, and also the music soundtrack behind the film, which these days I don't normally talk about in my reviews, but however though, I do appreciate the music soundtrack throughout the film. The running time does clock in at 1 hour 38 minutes, and I will be honest, the acting performance from the cast involved in this film is rather good. Do I recommend watching Good Fortune? Yes, I do, and will I be revisiting and rewatching Good Fortune again in the future? For sure, I definitely will do. Good Fortune is available to buy and rent on digital platforms right now.
Scream 7.
And the final movie I have watched this week is Scream 7, which I gave 3 stars over on Letterboxd. Now, can I just say that I did watch this film on Friday this week, which was Friday the 27th of February. At the beginning of the week, which I believe was Monday the 23rd of February, I actually went back and rewatched the entire Scream franchise from Scream 1 from 1996 all the way up until the recent Scream film that was Scream 6 that came out about 2 years ago, I think. Might have been 2-3 years ago. Anyway, either way, I've done a Scream marathon rewatch, watched all 6 films in one day at the beginning of the week, and I've ended my week, and I'm ending this week's episode of the movie wrap up by talking about Scream 7, which I gave 3 stars over on Letterboxd. So, Neve Campbell, Isabel May, McKenna Grace, Mason Gooding, Jasmine Savoy Brown and Courtney Cox all star in Scream 7, the 7th installment in the franchise. After rewatching Scream 1 to 6 at the start of the week, what did I think of the 7th installment? I had some enjoyment here, and for the purpose of this review, and because this movie is newly released, I won't be delving into any spoilers like the killer reveals, so this is a safe review to see. But Ghostface, I thought, was rather decent. There was some inventive kills in this, which I did appreciate. Now, Neve Campbell was not present in Scream 6, and this was brought up a few times in the film. However, there is a slight reference, a minor reference, to Sam Carpenter as well in this movie too. I will be honest, in terms of meta language, it is still somewhat in here, but is kept to a rather bare minimum. I think the best scenes of the film was mostly when Ghostface appeared on screen, but for the rest of the film, I kind of felt bored a little way through. Like, some of the scenes just dragged for the sake of the running time. Is Scream 7 going to be a movie that I remember? Well, taken away from it, I would say the inventive kills, but if it wasn't for that, then this would have been a rather forgettable film in my honest opinion. Is Scream 7 a film I would recommend watching? If you are a fan of the franchise, then I would say check this out, of course. And is Scream 7 a movie I can see me revisiting, rewatching in the future? Sure, I would happily watch this again, as it is part of the franchise. Speaking of this franchise, it seems there is still more life in this franchise, because before the release of this, there are plans already underway for a Scream 8. If this movie does well at the box office, so it does make me wonder, how many more films are we going to get from this series, and how many more stories can be told with these characters before the franchise becomes too stale. Also, Ghostface will be returning back on the big screen later on this year in the horror comedy film Scary Movie 6, which sadly I didn't get the trailer for that in front of Scream 7. However, I did see the trailer leak online, and safe to say that this is going to be my highly anticipated comedy movie of the year after seeing just that one trailer for Scary Movie 6. But Scream 7 is now showing in cinemas and theatres worldwide. And also as well, can I just say that before I do wrap up this review for Scream 7, I do believe it must have been Radio Silence. Obviously, they were more focused on the movie Abigail that came out a couple of years ago and stuff like that. But they've recently spoken about what their plans would have been for Scream 7. Not gonna lie, if they had taken control of Scream 7, if Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega were still part of the story, I believe Melissa Barrera's character was going to become Ghostface, which I would have honestly thought would have been such a lame, lazy reveal, and very predictable as well, given what happened in Scream 6. You know, I mean, she kind of took the form of Ghostface in Scream 6, in the final act of Scream 6, if you have already seen that film. If you haven't, then I'm sorry, that was a spoiler, but you should have watched Scream 6 by now. But what I was also going to say was, Radio Silence have also spoken about, if they weren't so focused on Abigail, if they were more focused on Scream 7, if they were still in control, and if they had that story still there, then they would have made Ghostface really, like, really F you up as an audience, as a moviegoer. Like, Ghostface would have really have F'd you up if you had seen some of the kills I think they had in store for Ghostface on screen. So, yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. I mean, to be honest with you, you know, I mean, in an alternative timeline, I'm probably sat here right now doing this movie wrap-up episode, and I'm talking about Scream 7, and I'm probably giving it a 5-star rating and saying that it's probably the best movie in the franchise. But, you know, and also as well, if you're wanting to know what my Scream ranking is, I'm going to be honest here, right? Scream 3 is in 7th place. Scream 7 is in 6th place. And then Scream 4 is in 5th place. I don't know about my top 4, though. My top 4 is very difficult for me to kind of work out, really. You know, it's kind of difficult for me to kind of say and work out. So maybe I might have to do a Scream ranking. And I think the original is probably my number 1. But I don't know about number 2. I don't know about number 5. And I don't know about number 6. But, anyway, Scream 7 is now showing in cinemas and theatres worldwide. And that is it for this week's episode of Steve's Movie Wrap-Up. Thank you for watching this episode. If you have enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what movies you've watched this week, whether it's old, new, in cinemas, in theatres, on DVD, Blu-ray, or even on VHS if you still own a VHS player and have VHS tapes. Let me know in the comment section down below what movies you guys have watched this week. As always, really do appreciate hearing from you guys. And of course, if you are new around here and you like what you see, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below to become a Stevo. I will be back tomorrow, Monday the 2nd of March, 2026. 4 PM UK time with my next episode of Steve's weekly vlog right here on my YouTube channel, SteveOfficial. So feel free to check that out then. Also as well, quick reminder, there is 2 brand new episodes of Steve's weekly podcast. The podcast is back for 2026. There's one that got released on Friday last week, Friday the 27th of February at 4 PM. So that is up right now. Spotify Music, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts from. Feel free to tune into them and feel free to join in as well, honestly. Feel free to interact as well, honestly. Really do appreciate it if you guys would interact with the podcasts as well. And of course, there is another episode that came out on Saturday as well, where I go through everything that was announced from the Samsung Galaxy Unpacked event that took place earlier this week as well, such as the Galaxy S26, S26 Plus, S26 Ultra, the Galaxy Buds 4 and the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro as well. So of course I've gone through that, and of course that podcast is available right now. There is another 2 podcasts coming up this upcoming week as well, by the way. One about the Apple event that's taking place later this week, so I'll be talking about that in my next episode of the podcast. That's coming out on Thursday, the 5th of March at 4 PM UK time on Spotify Music, Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. And of course I will do my usual Friday podcast, again same time, 4 PM UK time, Spotify, Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. So that's my 2 episodes coming up this week as well, okay? But guys, thank you for watching this video, and until next time, it's goodbye. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys again in my next YouTube video.